Hello ladies and gentlemen, today I thought I'd do a bit of a tutorial. Today we're going to learn how to draw the bicep. So, quick intro before we get to it. Whenever I study anatomy, I like to go into the depth of it. So not just really learning it on how the muscle would look on a comic character, but rather how does it look under the skin, where does it attach and where does it go to, and how does it look like when it's flexed and extended. So with the biceps, rather simple muscle. It's a two-headed muscle, and it goes along the humerus muscle, which is your upper arm muscle. So we're going to start by just laying a straight line representing your upper arm muscle, then a bit of that. You don't necessarily need to know this. This is very specifically anatomical. We're going to go up here and just add that. Now the top of this bone connects to a bit that is part of your shoulder blade, and that kind of goes into your collarbone a bit, but all that has nothing to do with the bicep. So the bicep starts up here and then goes over to the next muscle, to next bone, excuse me, which are your lower arm. Consists of two bones. Names aren't really necessary right now. And at the top it connects at two spots, at the bottom connects at one spot. So it's a two-headed muscle. So at the top, it's going to connect at the humerus itself. So it's going to behind this area here. It's going to come out here. That's where the tendon is going to come out. It's coming up roughly to here. So that's how we're going to roughly, with these squiggly lines, that's how we're going to roughly indicate the end of the tendon and going over into the muscle. Now that's the long head. Now a short head, which is the inside part, that's closer to your body, is going to connect to this bone up here. So just like that, and it's connecting there, goes up to roughly there, and yeah. So from here, these muscles, these tendons turn into muscles, and they go along the humerus like this, and it attaches to the smaller of the two bones, so the outer of the two bones. So it's going to be roughly there, pretty much right after the elbow, and that's only going to go roughly. It's with every person different. You'll notice some people have longer biceps, shorter biceps. The longer the bicep is, in general, like together, the closer, as in the closer the muscle belly is to the elbow, the shorter this tendon is. And that's ultimately just genetics, and the aids in mobility. So people with larger biceps, longer biceps that go all the way to the elbow would have lesser mobility. So at this point, the bicep is a peak, which is the outside muscle, the longer muscle, and it's going to come out here and there. So this is long, this part is short. Since it goes from two tendons to one head tendon over here, we're just going to connect that there, and that will be the rough shape of the bicep. We can erase that over there, and we can add lines indicating the muscle. So the bone sits underneath. Here it goes from one bone to the other. Here's the other bone, where the tendon is connected to, and at the top connects one time to the humerus itself, and the second time to a bit of your shoulder blade, or rather your collarbone. So that's how it looks like under the skin. How does it look like on top of the skin when you're drawing an actual comic book character? So this is like it's going to be construction line, excuse me. So we'll draw something like a frontal bicep. That's my rough shape for a torso. It's going to come out roughly to here. Make another circle indicating the elbow, and from the middle of this circle, just going to bring it up here, and fist will be like that. I'm going to flesh it out. So what I do, so we have the shoulder muscle. Let's make that really big. And like I mentioned before, the peak of the bicep is a very developed bicep. It's going to be at the front. So if you ever saw like a Schwarzenegger pose, when he does it, his bicep shoots up like that, and then comes down rather fast. And then here, this line that kind of comes in, that indicates that's from the one head to two heads, or two head to one head, actually. We can draw that since the inner muscle doesn't have such a peak, and that's how it's kind of going to look like. And then we indicate that it's going to come from, because right down here is where the chest muscle will come. There is a line between chest and shoulder muscles. It's going to come from in between that. Got to clean that up then a bit. And then we can just add a lump of muscle excuse me, lump of muscle for the tricep connected to the end. And this guy has, well, maybe not the longest bicep, so it doesn't really come to all the way to the elbow. So we're going to do this line indicating that there's a bit of a space here, and you can kind of make that mold in. There you go. And then because we have the brachioradialis coming from back here, that kind of helps fill it out a bit, even if you got a short bicep. And then elbow will kind of come in here, come out. Pushing a bit too hard on my pencil today. And then I'm gonna fill in the fist. Had to check for a second which way the thumb goes to. And there you go. You can make that. We can change some of the angles. This one would be rough, slightly more steep than tall. And you could also make the forearm muscle a bit larger, especially over here. So I'm gonna erase some of that, redraw that in, so it's gonna go like that and like that, because yeah. And that's roughly what it's gonna look like from the front. So you got like a front double bicep from any bodybuilding fans out there. That's roughly how it's gonna look like if it's like a Arnold peak condition. Actually, you can make this bigger. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make this outside bit bigger. Let's go ahead and erase this. I'm twisting my page a bit because it's what I do when I draw. There you go. That's kind of what you can get away with, and then maybe some detail for the tricep and bring down the lats over there. Kind of give that a bit of detail. Not really important right now. So you could tinker with this a bit more, make it look a bit more realistic. But yeah, it's very good. That brings across the point of how to draw an anatomically correct bicep. Of course, when you're doing comics, you're not going to draw everything anatomically correct, naturally. But yeah, so now we're going to go to the back. So how does it look like if there's a back double bicep? So again, our torso shape, construction line, circle. So again, we're going to have our shoulder muscle. It's going to come down roughly here. Since it's from the back, we're going to see more of the shoulder. Like that. And again, we're going to come up here and bring it down. Only really muscular people. You see like bodybuilders who got like really little fat and all that. Those are the type of people we usually see from the back. Like the bicep is really difficult. Also with definition and things like that. So we're going to add some. This is the brachialis. Brachioradialis comes from up here. Then we can kind of extend that there. Now my pencil's out of line. I'm going to switch to normal pencil right now. Tricep comes from the back here. And we're going to draw the fist again. Just very loosely. So here we basically only see the back, the long head. So since the short head is more stumpy and rather makes the bicep wider than taller, we're not going to see it from the back that much, but we're going to see other details like tricep, brachialis, brachioradialis, and muscles such as. And this isn't perfect anatomy, I'm well aware of that, but definitely is enough if you wanted to again draw, making your bicep look a bit more flashy. And then we can go to an extended bicep, how that looks like, because this is now flexed from either side. You can make that a bit more pointy actually. Just get that a bit more of a peak like here. Now a bicep that when the hand is extended, we'll use this, and this is again from the front. So this will be a chest, this will be a chest for example. So we'll have our shoulder muscle going in here again, connecting to our chest muscle, roughly there. And since it's extended like this, just kind of imagine this but bigger. And when the bicep gets bigger, it takes on a bit of a more of a squarish shape. So you can kind of, so what you're going to do, you're going to basically draw a square, maybe a bit more of a pentagon or diamond actually. So you're going to up, maybe a bit more, get that round and down, and again out, and basically connecting there. And then from there again, tricep, lats, not really important right now. From here we get the brachialis, the brachioradialis, elbow, forearm muscle, which name I don't know because there are lots of forearm muscles. You can make the tricep a bit bigger to match the size. And then, yeah. And you see all these lines that we added here. Those, when you see like a bodybuilding, got all those lines on their muscles when they're flexing, those are called striations. Those are the individual muscle fibers. So let's say he has his arms stretched and he's flexing real hard. Wait, let me just clean this up a little bit. Flexing real hard, because then we're going to, as Matt, just remember, this is a round object, so we're going to see some striations at the front in the beginning, not really at the end, and we'll see that split right here, this split right here. We're going to see that quite pronounced. Yeah, so I drew these, just keep in mind, I drew these now with a lot of lines. You're going to see, when you draw an actual human, you're going to draw with a lot less lines unless they're really flexed. So when they're relaxed, even a bodybuilder from the back, you're not going to see that much. You're going to see basically that. You're not going to see any of this. You're going to see some of the forearm muscles, not even this upper forearm muscle that much. Definitely not the tricep. That's going to be surprisingly round. And that's all you're going to see. And once he flexes, that's when you see all of the detail in the muscle. Now, that's from the outside now. Now from the inside, you will see, so chest, shoulder, chest, bicep. From the inside, you will see this line connecting, because this guy, this inner guy, since it comes out, it does have a lot more space to divide between muscles, and you will see it more. So that you can leave this transition here, definitely leave free, because this goes deeper under the skin and you won't see it much. Then, since you really can't tell differently unless you're hard flexing between the radius and the brachioradius, which are these two muscles on the side of your arm, you can just combine them into one, give a little divot for the inside of your elbow, make a little groove for the elbow. Forearm muscle basically starts later, so that's how we have that there, and how it comes there. So that's more relaxed, that's more flexed. And yeah, that's pretty much all I have for the bicep. It really doesn't have to be more complex than that. You have to play around with the anatomy. Definitely look at bodybuilders. You want to know how to draw like realistically big biceps. You want to draw cartoonishly big biceps, and you just need to draw even bigger, make the heads even smaller of your characters. And that's how I do it. Thanks for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Please like, subscribe, and I'm planning to do this with most major muscles, at least the ones you can see on the outside. Maybe a bunch of them together, like all the back muscles. Keep that kind of simpler, but still anatomically correct, and see how that goes. So really hope you enjoyed. Please leave a like, subscribe, and have a nice day.